I guess the things that that are always on the forefront of my mind is that, how do homeless people keep themselves safe? Well, you can't when there's like a pseudo governing criminal element that basically allows individuals to hustle and scam people by offering to do things for them. Like if it's an elderly or if it's somebody that's got a broken leg or whatever, oh, I'll do this for you and I'll do that for you. Yeah, like that one is one of them right there. Yeah, see, that's why he's let down and everything, because he knows what he's done. What people like that do is that they make you feel like they want your friendship, and then what happens is they operate within that kind of friendship and scam you 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 until you just realize one day that they'll completely ignore you or completely make you feel like you're lesser than they are for some reason, when it was them who begged for your friendship to begin with, because nobody was dealing with them at all, right? So you give people chances and stuff like that. So it's those kind of things are very, very active in this homeless non-community.
It's gotta be socially exhausting.
Very, 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 very exhausting. And then but in order to retaliate with these people, you have to ask permission. Why? I didn't ask permission. Nobody asked me permission to be part of a human resource pool so that they can scam me along with other people, and it'd be okay. It's not okay, right? So then there's people who are, just let it be. But when you have over 50 to 100 people who are all saying, oh, let it be, don't worry about it, let somebody, it creates a false sense of earning opportunity for shitty people like that, which should not be part of any type of community at all. I mean, get a job. If you can't get a job, find something else that can help you feed your habit or whatever it is that you need to feed, instead of trying to infiltrate people by being helpful and being kind to them and helping them, and then when they have their back turned, you rob them of everything that they have, which is not much more than what you have.
It happens so frequently. You go from something to nothing pretty frequently.
Right. So, the homeless people are always screaming about, oh, the humanity, why can't we be more human, right? If we can't be more human to ourselves first, then what the fuck is it gonna be for everybody else? You already know this person needed your help, or, actually this person didn't even need anything from you, but you devise a situation where this person will be now ingratiated with you. So now they feel like they have, to give you something. That's okay for that one type of transaction. But if it becomes incessantly over and over and over again, that's predatory. You're now predatory.
Just eating each other alive.
Right.
How do you get out of it? It's like crabs in a bucket.
So to outside people that who don't know who we are, and they hear something about this or they see something about that, why the hell would they want to help at all? You guys mistreat each other already as it is. You abuse each other, you mistreat each other, there's no sense of community with you people, and you don't care. You don't care about each other. Why would we care about you? Right?
Seems like hope is helpless.
Well, it's like hope is helpless. I mean, to give any sense of hope would be helpless, right? Because that's not what's needed.
Somebody gives you something, it'll be taken away from you in a second.
Yeah, pretty much. And people go, oh, they're all druggies. They're all, you know why? Do you know why? Most of us smoke something is because we need to stay awake and alert enough so that nobody takes the stuff that we have had to be so careful about, because that's all we have in this little cart when we're not looking. When the mayor tells us that we have to go and that there's only one cart per person when you get caught at a camping site, an illegal camping site, and they say you can only take one cart with you when you leave, it's no wonder we all look like we covet our stuff.
It's back to zero.
How would you make a law that says it's one cart per person? Before that, how do you make a law that says it's illegal to be caught with a shopping cart because they're perceived as stolen property? So the public parks won't allow you to have your shopping cart. They want you to park it at the end of the curb, at the sidewalk, near other cars, and if a wind gust blows that cart into another car that is parked in a spot and scratches the bumper off it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't mean to go all the way to the extremities of that thing. Oh, it goes deeper. It goes much, much deeper. But those are like just problems at the surface,
That's what I keep thinking. It's just this exhaustion that you have to deal with constantly on all sides, whether it's like finding a place to sleep or guarding your stuff, or
exhaustion is like a perfect word for it.
And how do you get out of a situation where you can barely keep your eyes open?
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you want to use drugs to keep your eyes open so that you can keep your stuff, just like you said? It makes perfect sense. And that's the struggle, right? But
yeah, I mean, you have people have to do, just like when you're trying to survive, right? Not being homeless, but like, let's say you get your first job, first deal, whatever, you get your first apartment, now you're living life and everything, going out with your friends and everything. You do what you have to do in order to show up to work every day, not be late, do what's supposed to be done and finish your projects and get that paycheck, a couple days early if you were trying. But when you are on the homeless side, you have to wake up earlier than everybody else. So you can grab the sticks. First of all, there's 3 different kinds. There's kindling, small, medium, and large pieces of wood. If you're out here, right? Gather as much as you can so you can heat water and make coffee. And heat a pot of water from the river and boil it so you can wash your face and feel and take the stink out of you as much as you can, because the mayor doesn't allow you to bathe anywhere else. Okay? Now you have to feed your dog just like you do normal in another life, but you also have to make something to eat so you can have some breakfast. Then you gotta kill the fire. You gotta lock up everything, you gotta tie it up, whatever, your little camp or whatever, make sure nothing's smoking, and then take your bags and leave. So what? So you can find a spot to charge your devices.
Guys, I've been chasing power this whole time. It's been one of the hardest things, especially when I'm trying to do recording from all this.
Yep.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Well,
you need a generator.
I know.
Like one of those little ones,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
But I've only been doing this for a few days compared to so many other people. I really still have a lot to learn about it.
It's been a November 2024. And
Yeah, tell us about that.
by the way, the name or the title or of this video, as my name or something, just put September Lake.
Okay,
Easy.
you got it. Yeah.
Easy.
Which is the foundation that you want to start.
That's I've already got my EIN from the IRS.
That's awesome. Just to get people the nutrition that they need that's getting depleted out here on the streets.
Yeah, nutrition and supplements like like for example, rosemary. Rosemary, a plant, it have 18 different types of healing remedies that it can do. If you've got receding hairline, it'll grow your hairline back, and I've proven it. And my father and my mom were the ones that can attest to that because they've seen the change. It also balances your blood sugar. Doesn't matter if you're on the low or high side of diabetes. Doesn't matter. It will balance your sugar, blood sugar, no matter what. It promotes good circulation. It strengthens your blood vessels so you can open it up more and have more blood flowing throughout your body, which is new blood is better. New blood in, new oxygen in your blood, old oxygen out of your blood. That kind of thing.
Yeah, cardiovascular. That's cool.
Yeah. So it has hair, skin, and nails healing, and a bunch of other different things.
Can you make it into a tea?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually being made in a tea, but here's the funny thing about it, right? You can't almost buy any plant here in Pueblo. I don't know anywhere else in Colorado, but the only place I've seen it is on Highway 50. Is a family-owned grocery store over there. They sell a little plant for like $12.
Oh, interesting.
But you can't buy it anywhere here.
They don't have like a nursery or
Why?
something.
Why? Because it's self-healing, right? Because it's a superfood, right? That's another path, another journey right down there. But if you just kind of like not go all the way, to find out what that journey is about, but like keep that journey in mind when you're trying to figure out why food in Pueblo, just in Pueblo, and I could be talking about the rest of America, but is becoming more processed and less superfood. Why are they trying to create drama with people who are trying to start home gardens in their homes? Okay, of like just so they can plant tomatoes and spinach maybe, and stuff like that, And these people are saying that little garden right there is going to create so much pollution and fossil fuel and all that. Right?
So how did you end up in Pueblo?
I made a mistake. I'm from California. I grew up in California. Went to Nevada, and I made a mistake in Nevada about 10 years ago. And I've been trying to figure out where I could move, because Nevada weather, you can't, 128 degrees in the sun, in the summers.
Oh yeah.
Not very. I've had it 12 years. So
oh my gosh.
I was looking for a place that had real seasons,
Yeah.
And I was like, well, Colorado. And then also I was looking for a place that catered to, or that at least was sympathetic. I don't need to be catered to. I just need some sort of indication that the place I'm going to, don't hang people like me, So Colorado, I thought, was one of those places, because it's a second chance fairness state, funded by the federal government or something. They get, and then but that fairness basically was just about being able to give you the fairness to be interviewed, but not hired. They don't have to give you a chance in order to fulfill that fairness. So I had 12 interviews, no hire. For jobs that I knew that I was qualified to do, but
because you were in marketing before you started all this.
Yeah,
technology and marketing.
I was marketing, technology, advertising. Over 20 years. but I've got over 20 years of customer service experience, so it doesn't really matter what I'm selling, you know.
But you went to interviews and they just wouldn't give you a job.
12 interviews, no hire. That was November to December 2024, and then January 2025, I started giving rides to people in an SUV that my parents had given me. They shipped it over here, and I was giving people rides like Uber, making deliveries and stuff like that. Qualified for Uber, and then my vehicle got stolen 2 weeks before I was supposed to start with Uber. And it was stolen by someone who orchestrated something that later, it was basically a grudge against me because I didn't want to give them my service, I didn't want to give them a ride. It's just one of those things, you see people, you shake their hand, you just know that the vibe's not there, and so this person laid a grudge and later, planned to take my vehicle, and they took it.
They stole it.
Yeah.
And that's what led to the streets.
That's when I had to go get a shopping cart. 'Cause I had 2 dogs and whatever belongings I now had to go get from places like the co-op, the Mission, and some soup kitchen, and then there's a Monday Shower, the Baptist church over there. They gave me basically the things that had become my homeless, my homeless set of things,
The way that you survived.
Yeah, the sleeping bag, the towel, the socks, underwear, food, canned food, and whatever utensils I had to go find myself,
And getting to each of those places, they're like so spread out that it takes a whole day, right, to take care of yourself, basically. You don't have any time to like store up things for yourself if you're just getting from point A to point B to point C.
It didn't used to be, but now it's become that way because of the way the city's plan is to get rid of the homeless people. So, you don't see as many people with carts these days, walking up and down the street because they get a ticket.
Yeah, you can get in trouble if you have.
You can go to jail. Yeah, and basically just holding a shopping cart. You can get a ticket if the police officer thinks that you should go to jail, then you will go to jail. So what used to be fairly easy to do, if you don't mind pushing your cart like a mile, to go to the soup kitchen, then it's easy. It's basically 2 miles round trip, right? Yeah, something like that. But now, since all of the homeless people are being pushed out of the city areas, a lot of people are now camping an extra 1.5 miles from that mile. You know what I'm saying? So
just to hide.
Just to eat a breakfast, you have to go 3 miles one way.
They still want to be close enough to it, though.
Yeah, but they can't. For those who are able to get away with it, perfect, awesome. I know who they are. They're awesome. But for those who have time and time again being recorded by the police, or the police know you now, you were already told twice before not to be at this spot type of thing. So the third time would be jail time.
Trespassing.
Yeah.
You get a year in jail for that.
Yeah. The buildings, I think the buildings can give you up to 30 years for trespassing.
For trespassing in an abandoned building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a felony 6.
Yeah, if they decide to press charges.
So what do you think is actually happening by these new rules that are pushing homeless out of the city? What's going to happen to the homeless when they're pushed out?
they will have to find some other way to, you know, to get to survive, basically.
Think they'll stop being homeless?
That's to stop being homeless, you know, is first of all, I think we have to understand whether is homelessness really a state of being, right? Or is homelessness just really a predisposition? You know, is it a convention, right? You know, is it, you know, is it been pounded into the heart and the mind of every person that's been mistreated? Right.
Thank you for sharing. I only have 2 more questions for you.
Yeah.
One of them is, you talked about a play, and you feel like this play could make a big difference. Is something close to your heart?
Yeah. The play is called Just Like Real People, and it's a bunch of skits, basically, you know, that we share, you know, that we share, you know, and you know, like there's a little skit, you know, that. So first of all, this would be a drone film crew,
Okay.
right? You know, because homeless, you can dream as much as you can.
Heck yeah.
You know, everything's free until it's not, right?
Right.
So we were thinking about doing, grabbing a bunch of drones and then, you know, creating a follow me app or whatever, you know, follow whatever, you know, so that a couple, 2 or 3 drones are positioned with, you know, around one character at one time, because this is all in open air and it's live, not like a theater, you know. So that's the play. And so the scenario is boyfriend and girlfriend, you know, so, you know, Jack, whatever his name is, walking down the street, happy as it can be, still looking a little, you know, not as clean, but happy. You can tell he's a homeless person. And he's like, you know, gosh, you know, real excited. He turns to the corner, and on the corner there's a dumpster. Okay. And he calls out, says, Daisy, where are you? Right? And, you know, he's like so excited, come on, we gotta go. Daisy, where are you? And out from behind the dumpster, Daisy, you know, a woman's hand raises up. Hey, I'm here. Jack, you know, whatever. So he helps her out of from behind the dumpster, right? And they start to go. So they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited. This is so awesome. Our first day, right? And they, what should we do? Oh, we have a whole night planned. And so, but Jack, I'm hungry. Go eat. And Jack's like, oh, okay. So they stop. You know, drone cameras repositioned, of course. Then go, well, what do you want to eat? It's like, you know, Jack, I'd really love a cheeseburger, some fries, because, man, remember that last month that we had it when that McDonald's, you know, thing, you know, the McDonald's, you know, guy was, you know, asking, you know, gave us a bag and said, you know, they didn't want it, whatever. So, yeah, but you know what? I know. Okay, let's go. So they start going the other way, right? Once they go the other way, they walk around for a while, and when they turn the other corner, right, Bingo Burger or whatever just happened to be throwing like this gigantic white trash bag, right? Jack catches it in one hand, you know, turns around, whips it up, boom, 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 boom. Cheeseburger and fries, right? Cut.
Beautiful.
So, but I don't know if he'll ever come through or not. But there's a bunch of those. There's
kind of the satire of like what.
Yeah. Another one is the staying alive thing. The staying alive dance, mob dance on a intersection where lights are red, so all the cars are there, you know, and people are stopped. Like lights are green. Some people go, some people cross the street. You know how normal traffic goes.
Yeah.
Then at some point it completely empties and it silences, right? Drone shoots from the top view, so it's completely empty and silences, right? Then you can hear the music. Yeah, and it's a Staying Alive Saturday Night Live, Saturday Night Fever, you know, music, right? You know, staying alive, and then all these homeless people come from the trees, they come out from the trees, from the dumpsters, from the wherever, you know, these areas are they're hiding from, because they're there to pick up cigarettes, cigarette butts, put them in their pockets so they can smoke it later. And then they go, ha, ha, and then they all form this dance mob, and they go down the street, and they go, cuts into another scene.
Just picking up butts off the street. It's a totally different world out there. It absolutely is. I've been walking around, and what's one of the things I see people doing is going and picking up cigarette butts and putting them in Ziploc bags, you know, just to collect them. And they have like, you know, this much, a quarter inch of a cigarette left. That's like something that keeps people alive almost. Just something to do and like a little bit of hope.
It's more than it's more than just like it's more than just hope vapor. It's real hope.
You got a cigarette.
Because yeah.
My last question is for the people who, not foundations, but just everyday people, the whole population of the United States, and especially the people who want to help. What would you recommend? What is this? How do we do something about this? What would you recommend? What's your advice?
I would. You gotta, you know, make a choice on how you want to help. Whether it's through, you know, your foundation, you know, whether it's, you know, basically using your, you know, when they use your app, they'll find all of these connected, you know, hopefully, you know, real services, you know, that help the homeless. But just on a normal, everyday, you know, kind of thing, you know, if you see a homeless person, you know, even just a smile makes a whole lot of difference. I know that one wheel.
Yeah.
GT, man. Just a whole lot of, you know, just a smile makes a whole lot of difference. You don't have to buy us anything. You don't have to give us anything. You know, it'd be great if you did. You know, but we're not there because we're not there to remind you to give us something. You know, or that we're an object of charity. You know, we're there because we're your neighbors. Really, which is what the play is about. Is we're all neighbors, just different levels. You know, and yeah, we love snacks, really do. Most of us have a sweet tooth. We really, really do. But you know, smile. You can go a long way.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yep.